My name is Amber Usin-Davey, and welcome to Held Spaces. Today we hold space for the challenging topic of how to do tough conversations. I love a good communication model. That's a whole nother time and space. But it really doesn't matter how well or how great our skill is in having good communication if we're dysregulated, or if the health of our own nervous system or the one we're trying to engage with is struggling. So this segment is all about stepping back and looking at the important precursor to those communication skills. How is your nervous system? Now, a lot of high achievers, a lot of leaders tend to have a rather aggressive way that they approach tough things in their life. It's lean in, work harder, dig deeper, almost a whipping fashion that they get themselves across that finish line. And that is a whole another topic. It's culturally driven, might be in your family of origin, just the way your nervous system tends to react to stress. But without being mindful and without stepping back and regulating, that tends to do one of two things in how we approach tough conversations with our employees. We may know that we have this harsh inner critic or this hard way of driving ourselves, and we just project that on to our employee. And doing that, of course, leads to various ways their nervous system is going to respond. Either way, there's not going to be any good communication, any appreciation for the skills you might try to do and approach with them if it's triggering in a need to be safer for their nervous system, right? They may lean in for a moment and be more responsive in the short term and give you your desired results, but more likely, and over time, they will actually pull back and pull away from you and shut down. Both of these outcomes, not desired, not what we're looking for. The other thing a leader who tends to lead harshly within themselves might do is they might have this awareness and they purposely do not want to put that on the employee. So instead of being aggressive, they're going to jump to the other side of things and be too passive in the way that they try to control or manipulate that tough conversation. And in their efforts to try to not dump their own stuff on that employee, they may be more likely to take on more than they should, delegate less. They may shy away from having that employee take the accountability. They may avoid the situation, downplay, all the things we try to do that in essence have us not productively meeting that need and helping to realign the nervous system of the organization. So we don't want to do that. What do we do instead? We need to be able to step back and come into our own alignment. So the first step is recalibrating and stepping back and understanding what's going on within ourselves. What does this look like in real life? How do we play a conversation like that out that tends to our nervous system and the nervous system of the person that we're working with? For example, it might be something like, "Thank you for coming in to visit with me here today. We need to talk about some things that are not going well, some expectations that are not being met." And this is a challenging conversation because it's a lot easier to talk about what's going well, but it's just as important to talk about where we need to be doing better. So I want to get curious with you. You have a lot of talents and skills that we need here. And so I am thinking in the back of my mind, what's going on? Is this a skill issue that you're struggling with? Is there some area of support or onboarding that you're needing that wasn't done sufficiently? Is there an accommodation that would be helpful for you? I'm just curious. Help me understand what's going on here a little more. Let's explore this together. So in doing that, I'm naming that there's an issue, and that right away helps regulate both nervous systems because everybody knows it, right? And we have to present the awareness and the ability that in this place we can hold tough things and we know what to do with them, right? We're going to make meaning of them. Friction is important. Friction is okay. And in fact, we know that it's those moments of friction that we actually grow the most. So that is an example of honoring one's own nervous system and creating the space for the nervous system before you to also regulate and explore resources and answers together. Now, from these types of assertive, though vulnerable, but important conversations, we gain a lot of important data that we need as leaders, right? How do I continue to grow and create the robust nervous system that I need in my organization here? And also, what type of boundaries am I setting and adhering to? Am I creating psychological safety? Am I creating this place that's safe enough for people to show up authentically and do the good work that we need them to do? If not, and that may happen, that sometimes people aren't responsive, that we don't get the desired outcomes that we're looking for. It's okay. It happens, right? Sometimes we don't get the right person in the right position, and we may need to end that position, or we may need to move them to a place that's better for them. A-okay, this is life, right? The other issue is if you're really struggling with leading people and helping to grow people and having an interest in that and having it not be completely dysregulating for you, it may be time even for you as a leader to step back and be like, okay, well, why am I struggling with this probably most important part of leadership, the development of people and the being with tough times? What's going on within me? Do I perhaps need to be doing something different or leaning into a different area of my work or my own development? Or perhaps even more likely, do you just need a break? You just need some downtime for regulation, because leading requires a lot of bioenergy. Okay, so we are human. We need times where we step back to recalibrate and rejuvenate as well. So I invite you to think about how you might tend to show up, how your own internal mechanisms for dealing with challenges that you face might play into how you then in turn try to hold your employees in those spaces. If so, I would love to be a thought partner with you in that. These are moments where we can really have more peace, more clarity in what we're doing, find our drive again. Drop a comment or reach out. And as always, thank you for taking time to hold spaces for the things that matter most. Be well.